When someone asks you to describe the color of the sky, you'll probably say, the sky is blue. But let me tell you that the answer is wrong. The sky isn't blue. In fact, it doesn't have any color. The blue tint that you see on a clear sky is what your eyes perceive, but still, this question does bother most of us. Why does the sky appear blue? Welcome to Tech Hook. In today's video, we'll find out why exactly the sky appears blue. Are you ready? Then let's begin. You're not the only one asking this question. Many have asked them, and answering them may seem pretty tricky. However, the physics behind the problem is not complex. Let's break down the factors that contribute to why the sky appears blue. The first is the color of light from the sun. The second is the Earth's atmosphere and its air molecules. And finally, the third is the peculiarities of the human eye. The color of light from the sun. Now, when you look at the sky during a sunrise or a sunset, you'll notice that the sky looks orange or yellow. But if there is no sun, then the sky has no color at all. Does this mean the sun contributes to the blue shade of the sky? Yes, it does. When the sun shines and the light reaches the surface of the Earth, it gives off white light. No, it doesn't mean white, but rather a colorless light. This colorless light contains all the wavelengths of the visible spectrum. Together, they appear white to the eye. Hence, it's called white light. It was the British physicist Sir Isaac Newton who first discovered it when he placed a prism under natural sunlight. When his white light passed through it, the light scattered to reflect a mixture of colors similar to what we see in a rainbow. They are violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. These colors are also known as electromagnetic waves or light waves. But this doesn't justify why the sky is blue. You should know that when white light scatters, it does not only show these colors. These are other lights like ultraviolet light and infrared light that aren't visible to the human eye. But we're not going into those for now. We're going to focus on the visible spectrum. These light waves have a wavelength that varies from short lengths measuring up to 400 nanometers to longer distances of up to 700 nanometers. Violet, indigo, and blue have shorter wavelengths, while green, yellow, orange, and red have longer wavelengths. To fully understand this, we're going into the second factor, that is, the Earth's atmosphere and its air molecules. Keep in mind the wavelengths we just talked about while we explain how the Earth's atmosphere contributes to this phenomenon. If you look at the Earth's atmosphere, it is mainly composed of gases, dust particles, water droplets, and water vapor. The primary components of the Earth's atmosphere are gases, dust, water droplets, and water vapor. Among the gases, nitrogen is present in abundant quantities at around 78%. Following it comes oxygen, which makes up about 21% of the mixture, and the remaining space is occupied by gases like argon, carbon dioxide, and others. So what happens when sunlight falls on the Earth's atmosphere? At the first strike of sunlight, the white light falls on the atmosphere that contains molecules like gases, dust particles, water droplets, and water vapor, and instantly gets scattered. But how does it scatter? Well, in physics, the scattering idea, which is also called the Rayleigh Law of Scattering, was coined by Lord Rayleigh, a renowned physicist. He published the first papers explaining this phenomenon back in 1871. Now, what does this law state? According to this, light scattering occurs when light is absorbed by atoms and re-emitted in various directions. However, not all the light is dispersed equally. The Rayleigh Law of Scattering determines the amount of light that will be scattered. According to this law, the magnitude or intensity of scattered light is inversely proportional to the wave's wavelength divided by its fourth power. The relationship between I and lambda to the fourth power is inverse. If the value of lambda increases, then the intensity will be lower. If its value decreases, then the intensity of scattering will be greater. The lower the wavelength, the greater the scattering. Therefore, this is how air molecules in the Earth's atmosphere interact with light. Now, bringing it back to the wavelengths we've discussed earlier, light waves with shorter wavelengths get scattered more than light with longer wavelengths. The violet light, being the shortest wavelength of light, is scattered the most. Then comes the indigo, the blue, the green, and so on. So now, I want you to tell me, among the 7 colors of sunlight, which one will be scattered the most? Yes, the light of the color corresponding to the smallest wavelength will be scattered the most. As a result, these air molecules will scatter light in the blue, indigo, and violet spectrum the most. The sun emits light of all wavelengths, and some of that light travels through the atmosphere, where it is scattered and reflected. Now, you're probably wondering if violet light has the shortest wavelength. Why isn't the sky violet? Well, the sky indeed scatters violet light more than blue light. However, we don't see a violet sky, do we? What's the reason? That's where the human eye comes into play. The human eye sees the light and color through the use of cells called rods and cones. The cells called cones enable us to see color. Cones come in 3 different types. Although one of them allows us to see some red light, the others are more sensitive to green light and blue light. And there's the problem. The blue seeing cones are rather good at detecting blue, but they struggle to see violet, so if we had perfect vision, the sky should be more on the violet or blue side. But we don't though. We end up seeing the color blue because we have poor vision for certain hues. Additionally, you should be aware that the sun releases more blue and light blue light than violet light. As a result, the air molecules scatter more blue light, giving the sky its blue hue. In all of this, remember we've talked about Rayleigh, who discovered the scattering process? Well, though the first observation was made 2 years earlier by a scientist by the name of John Tyndall, it was Rayleigh who first realized that blue light was scattered more than the other colors. Rayleigh's research also explained why sunrises and sunsets could be so spectacularly red. The amount of air that light must travel through before it reaches your eyes when the sun is on the horizon. As a result, more blue light than usual is scattered, allowing you to see the reds and oranges primarily. Additionally, when there is a lot of smoke or dust in the air, these particles are frequently small enough to preferentially scatter blue light, which is why the most spectacular sunsets occur at those times. But what happens if the white light passes through clouds? You see, clouds are made of water droplets, which are larger compared to the air molecules. Water droplets don't scatter specific colors in the way that air does, and if all colors are scattered more or less equally, then the result is that the colors combine to be white. And gray clouds are white clouds that have accumulated more water and are thicker. A portion of the light is reflected into space or trapped in the clouds because they scatter so much light. And of course, if there were no clouds, the sky would be blue. So we finally found the answer to the question, why is the sky blue? In short, to recap the whole thing, the sky is blue because the sun emits light in all colors. This light reaches the Earth's atmosphere, and the air molecules of the Earth's atmosphere scatter blue and violet light the most, and the human eye has trouble seeing violet, so the sky is blue. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you sincerely did, then don't forget to leave a like on this video. You can also hit the subscribe button if you're interested in viewing more videos like these. Hit the bell icon to get notified when we upload our next video. Till then, I appreciate you watching this video. I hope to see you at the next one.